100 poets, one poem each, number 13. The poem, Tsukubane no Mina yori otsuru, Mina no kawa, koizo tsumorite, fuchi to nari nuru. From the peak of Tsukuba, the river called Mina falls. Just as those waters gather and deepen, my love has accumulated and become a pool without a bottom. 31 syllables, the 13th poem. In the anthology of 100, this is the purest love poem. In the first 13, no allegory, no monk's distance, no seasonal meditation, just love, direct, accumulated, deep. The poem was a letter sent to a specific person from a man who had every reason in the world not to send it, and sent it anyway. The poet, his name was Yozei, the 57th emperor of Japan, born in 868, died in 949, 81 years old. He was emperor for 8 years. He became emperor at 9. He stopped being emperor at 17, and then he was the retired emperor for 65 years, the longest period as retired emperor in all of Japanese history. He outlived everyone. He outlived the people who removed him. He outlived their children. He outlived their grandchildren. He was still there when the world that had cast him aside had been replaced twice over. The removal. He was removed at 17. The official reason given in the chronicles was illness. He voluntarily stepped down. This is what the records say. The records were written by the people who benefited from his removal. What the tradition also holds. He was dangerous. He was unpredictable. He did things that emperors were not supposed to do. He kept horses in the palace. He opened the sacred sword, one of the 3 sacred treasures, the sword that was not to be touched. He took it out. He looked at it. He had people killed. His milk brother, a young man raised beside him, found dead in the palace. No explanation. The emperor understood to be responsible, and behind all of it, Fujiwara no Mototsune, the great minister, who actually ran the government, while the child emperor sat on the throne. Mototsune wanted a more manageable emperor. The records gave him the justification he needed. The emperor was ill. He stepped down. Whether Yozei was genuinely dangerous, or genuinely ill, or simply inconvenient, is a question the sources cannot fully answer. He was 17, and then he was not the emperor anymore. The 65 years, he outlived the removal. This is the remarkable thing. He became the retired emperor at 17. He stayed the retired emperor for 65 years, into his 80s, past the death of the emperor who replaced him, past the death of that emperor's successor, past the death of that emperor's successor. He was not powerless. The retired emperor had a court, had income, had property, had position. He was not the prisoner of his removal. He had children. The 20th poem in the anthology is by his son, father and son, both in the 100 poets, both with complicated lives. The woman. The poem was sent to a specific woman. Her name was Suishi, the third daughter of Emperor Koko, the princess of the fishing pavilion. Her father was the emperor, who had replaced Yozei, the man whose ascension came directly from Yozei's removal, the political enemy, the family that had benefited from what happened at 17. And Yozei sent this woman a love poem. This is the detail that makes the story, not the removal, not the 65 years. The poem sent to the daughter of the man who replaced him, the love sent across the most politically charged boundary available. Whether he intended the irony is unknown. Whether she felt it when she received the poem is unknown. What is known, she eventually became his. They married. She celebrated his 40th birthday with a ceremony of offerings, Buddhist images, sutras, the formal celebration of a long life. The poem worked. The letter arrived. The mountain, Tsukuba, the mountain in what is now Ibaraki Prefecture. 2 peaks, the male peak, the female peak. The mountain divided into its gendered nature, since the oldest poetry in the tradition. From the male peak and the female peak, water flows. The water from both sides comes together and forms the Mina River, the river of man and woman, the river that is the two becoming one in the landscape of the mountain. This is the river the poem uses for love, because the river is already love. It is already 2 separate things coming together and becoming deeper by combining. At the peak, the water is almost nothing, a trickle, a seep, the beginning of something that has not yet found its full form. As it falls, it gathers. More water joins. The trickle becomes a stream. The stream becomes a river. The river deepens. It carves the valley, fuchi, the deep pool, the place where the water has settled, into depth, into the still dark place, where the bottom cannot be seen. This is what love becomes, when it has been going long enough, not the excitement at the peak, the stillness of the depth. The one poem, he left almost nothing. One poem in the imperial anthologies, one poem that survived into the sources that Teika read when he was selecting the 100, a man who was emperor for 8 years, who was retired emperor for 65 years, who outlived empires, who sent a love letter across the most politically charged boundary available, and left one poem. The choice of Teika to include it is itself a statement. The 100 Poets is full of great poets. Yozei was not a great poet. He left one poem. Teika included him anyway, perhaps because the one poem is good, perhaps because the story behind it is too interesting to leave out. The removed emperor, the daughter of the replacement, the 65 years of outliving, the one poem that survived. Tsukubane no Mina yori otsuru, Mina no kawa, koizo tsumorite, fuchi to nari nuru. The peak, the falling water, the gathering, the depth, from the removed emperor to the daughter of the replacement, across every boundary available, the love that accumulated anyway.